Hello and welcome to the Geek Zone. I am Will and this is World of Tanks. Hi guys, it's Will and I've been sent in a replay again from Swedish, so thanks very much again Swedish guys. If you want to send in your replays, please do send them to the geekzone@hotmail.com for me to critique them, and you could have your bit of limelight on the YouTubes. Now, for those who've already guessed, yes, this thing is a Maus or a mouse. I personally like to say Maus, but that's a personal preference, isn't it? This thing is the biggest tank in the game, I think, and it certainly has the most health. It's along the German heavy line, so let's go along and just tell you some of the features and just tell you about it, a little bit about this tank. This thing is absolutely huge. Look at that. Look at it. It's not exactly a pretty, well, personal preference of course, but I do not think it is the prettiest tank in the world, and I'm sure some of you out there would agree with me. But anyway, let's get on. We're not going to talk about its actual design aspects of it. We're going to talk about the well, I suppose design aspects could be put into it because they have to design it right to actually function, and angles and stuff to bounce armor. So, but we're going to not talk about the aesthetic and how it looks. We're going to talk about how it is made any good. It's a German heavy tank, tier 10. It's along the same lines as the E100, but this thing has more armor. Or does it? That is the question, isn't it? Yes, that is. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna get some of these facts wrong, and like E100 drivers are gonna shout at me, and Maus drivers are probably gonna shout at me as well. But hey, I have never driven the E100 or the Maus. I'm going towards the E100 extremely slowly, but we will see what happens. Anyway, let's get on. First, we'll start with the turret. The turret has 240 armor on the front. Now, so you're looking at 240 armor on this plate and this plate here. And then you got the gun mantle, which will be more than 240. But then you look at it from this angle and you can see the massive curvature of this tank. The only way you are going to hit it and penetrate, if your gun has 240 penetration, the only way you're going to penetrate the front of this tank is if you hit it square on that point. If you hit it a little bit too high and a little bit too low, it won't. It'll just bounce. This makes it an extremely bouncy frontal armor of the tank. It's the only way you're going to penetrate it with a 240 penetration gun is if you hit directly into that plate, like the dead center of it. Then it'll go through. But otherwise, you're not going to penetrate this thing. This thing's going to be incredibly bouncy. And if I'm honest, unless you can have a very, very highly accurate gun, and you can shoot this weak spot here, or you have a nice penetration and you can penetrate the lower glacis of the German tank, I wouldn't even try and shoot the front of this thing, personally. It is an absolute beast. So, the side turret armor of this thing, as you're going to see again, just like the E100, it's slightly sloped as the sides, probably more so sloped as the E100, and you should not face hug this thing. Just don't face hug it. End of discussion. But you have the side armor of 210 armor on the front and 210 on the rear, so that's absolutely insane. The rear armor of this turret is not bad at all. Of course, it has no angle whatsoever. Actually, no, I lied. It has a little bit of an angle there, as you can see, tiniest angle. And the sides, as I said earlier, have quite a nice angle on them. So this tank's turret is huge. This tank's turret on its own is just pretty damn beastie indeed. And yeah, it's this tank, as I said, is all about the armor of this tank. The gun's pretty meh, I would say personally, but yeah, this tank's awesome. It's absolutely insane. Its armor value is incredible. So you're looking at the front of the tank here, and we're going to go to the armor values on the front. The front 200. So the frontal armor of this tank, the rear armor of the turret beats the frontal armor of the hull. That's how good the turret is. So you're looking at 200 on the front. Of course, the lower glacis is going to be a weak spot. Then you have these two flat plates in front of the tracks there, which you could penetrate and track this tank with. Also, the front of the tank is sloped quite nicely there as well. So that is quite nice. Again, I do think that is actually spaced armor at the front of this plate, so I could be wrong again, but I think it is, and that would be quite nice. So you have that, which is going to be very, very nicely angled indeed. So that's going to be more than 200 armor there, but again, very, very nice. And then you go on to the sides, and the sides it starts decreasing quite dramatically to 180 on a complete and utter flat. Now, if you're side scraping this tank, that's going to become very, very useful, that 185, and if you angle it properly, this tank, again, is going to be very, very useful again. So not bad armor if you use it properly, but if you're just going to get shot into the sides of it, I can penetrate that in my tier 8 tanks and stuff like that, so that's not that fantastic at all, to be fair. It is perfectly flat. But the rear goes down to 160 armor. It is slightly angled, but again, not massively. And you have this little sort of a back lower glacis on the back of this tank, this bit here, which you can penetrate. So the weak spots at the front of this tank, that thing, lower glacis if he's not angled, the lower glacis. Sides, to be fair, if you're dead on, your gun has more than 180 penetration, you can hit the side of this tank and you're probably going to penetrate. But then spaced armor, you have this spaced armor you got to get through, so you got to get 180 millimeters of armor you got to get through, then you got to get through the tracks, and then you get into the tank, then you've got to get into the tank and you do some damage then. So the armor of this thing is pretty fucking beastie. So yeah, that's going to be a problem as well, just because you've got so many layers of armor to get through. The rear of the tank, yeah, you can penetrate that pretty easily, if I'm honest. There is this part of the turret, no. This part of the tank, yes. If you're looking at the back of this tank, don't even go for the turret. I do not know. If you know, in the comment section below, please put if this is a weak spot or not. The back of the turret, the little sort of like belly button on the back of the turret. I'm not sure if that's a weak spot or not. But anyway, SPG target. This thing is a massive SPG target. It is a huge, huge tank. Lots of flat surfaces. As you can see, it does have those. It has a curve, not curve, sorry. It has an angle there, an angle there, an angle there, and it has that curve on the front of its turret. But apart from that, it is just a huge ass tank, and it's very, very flat indeed. So you're looking at a huge artillery target. Side armor is alright. The rear armor is not great. The turret is fantastic, but if you play this tank well, similar to the E100, I would say, you can play very, very nice games with it. And we're going to demonstrate some of the armor and the problems I personally have with it. Okay, you mods drivers out there, you're probably going to be able to counter these problems I ran into this tank using the armor. But these are the problems I ran into the tank with. It seems to be penetrated a lot. That's probably why it's got that 3,000 health pool, which is the biggest health pool in the game. But it just seems to be getting penetrated a lot. Maybe it's because people are like, oh, Moz, gold ammo. Don't know. But it seems to be penetrated quite a lot. The gun, another problem I have with this tank. The gun's not great. Only 246 penetration with it, and only 311 with prem rounds. And then you got to 490. So the E100 gun is penetration-wise very similar, and huge amounts of damage on the E100 gun. This gun just doesn't have the damage. It really doesn't. This thing's more like a wall than a wall with a gun in it. I have a problem with that gun. I really do. My personal tastes it wouldn't fit my personal tastes. But I personally have a problem with the gun. The gun in my eyes is not great. Only 246 penetration and 490 damage in a tier 10 game isn't really a lot, I must admit. Especially when you're running with E100s and stuff like that, and the DPM of the Conqueror next to this tank, DPM of a T62A, the T11. The T110 E5 has, I think, a lot better damage than that. You're looking at that sort of thing. Yeah, so this thing is all about the armor, I would say personally. You're looking at a rate of fire of 4 seconds, so see, that's not even that great either, is it? To be fair, 4 seconds, not great at all. Accuracy of 0.38, so the accuracy of this gun's not bad. That's one thing for it, and the aiming time of 2.86. So the aiming time is not great either. But as I said, this thing is all about the armor. The traverse speed is 15. This thing turns like, well, a tank. This thing's slow at turning, 15 degrees per second. As you can tell, it's a huge ass tank. How much does it actually weigh? 188 tons with a load limit of 182, 92 even. That's insane. 192.9 tons. That is absolutely insane. So you're looking at a lot of tank here, and so the traverse speed is going to be freaking slow. With a turret traverse of, let us find out here, 14 degrees, so even worse. Yeah, that's one of the worst turret traverses I've ever seen. Jesus. This tank is slow. Its gun's not great. It's not personally, it's not looking so good for the E100 for me. If you do like this tank, put in the comment section what you like about the tank. Is the armor that good that it just like sort of counters anything else? But personally, when I watch this video, I don't think it is. Anyway, let's get on and play. So thank you again, Swedish, for sending this video for me, guys. If you want to see another one of videos, Swedish's videos I've critiqued, it was a KV4, huge amounts of damage, very bouncy tank. He seems to like his tanks bouncy, big and bouncy. So I'll stick that in the description below, and you guys can watch that if you enjoyed this video. It's in the same sort of style as this one, and yeah. So as you can see, he sits up here, and he decides to kind of side scrape here with angling his armor at a reasonable angle to increase his armor. He's been spotted by that IS-8 and the E75 there, so both tier 9s shouldn't be that much of a problem. He goes for the lower glacis of the IS-8, but does he take a shot? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He goes for the lower glacis and E75, and the E75's lower glacis has been angled, so it's never going to penetrate, especially with this kind of gun. That's again something I have a problem with this tank, tier 10 tank. But yeah, I suppose the E75's frontal armor is extremely nice and does have that angle on it as well. So yeah, so he smacks one straight into the side of an IS-8. So on the frontal side, the IS-8 has turned its side against him, and that was actually a really nicely placed shot there, just on the front of the side of that spike-nosed armor there. So very nice. The side of a turret again of the IS-8, smacking in 2 shots into him, and then he goes for the he's going to look at the E75 again. And that was very nice there. Just moves in time just to bounce a shot on the side. Oh, actually no, it wasn't. Bounces a shot off the that turret there. As you can see on the turret, that angle, the curvature of that turret really helping to keep him alive. Really, I think that was a HE shot, as it did fuck all damage from that E75 that hit him there, taking down what, just over 50 of his health. But no, so he starts hammering into this E75 again, another shot into the E75 and another bounce on that lower glacis. He's never going to penetrate, especially with this type of gun. But he's side scraping there and bouncing quite a few shots. There he goes, one to his side of his turret, and the E75 goes back around the corner. But what is he going to do? Let's just speed it up a little bit here. He's taking a look around, just seeing how the battle plans out. He's got that conqueror back up. So the E75 goes back around, and the E75 just shows a little bit too much of his side, and Swedish puts a shot into him as the E75 puts one into his track. The IS-8 there just still sitting there. I would move if that was that IS-8, if he can. There you go, he's moved. The E75 we know is still behind that corner. The IS-8 still can't actually, he's been pretty damn pinned in there. No idea what is going to happen to this. He's now showing his rear to the IS-8. That could be a problem, but the IS-8's moved up. He's going to engage this E75 here. The IS-8's no longer a problem. He's been engaged by 3 of the allied team there on the map. The IS-8's been taken out there, and the E75 and the T-34 will roll up. The T-34's got a tier 10 gun. He should be worried about that gun. That gun is freaking insane, especially with his lower glacis being shown. He could take a shot here, but sadly he doesn't, and he gets a shot straight into the track there, taking a nice chunk of his health down. This is one of the reasons I think this tank has such a large health pool, because it can actually be penetrated quite easily if you know where to shoot. Finishes off the T-34 there, bringing him to his first kill and 2,000 damage. So this gun's not the best in the world, nothing like the E75, nothing like the E100 guns, sorry, but he's still doing some seriously nice damage with it so far. So he puts in a shot into the side of the E75 there, not going to try and even shoot the front of his tank. And the E75 is actually hugging this tank. Sure, he doesn't actually have a choice in the matter, but he goes on for the T110 E5, finishes him off. Now this is actually a move I think is correct. As you can see, he's getting hammed in. I'm going to just take it out of that mode. And as you can see, when the smoke clears, there you go, he's being hammed into the back by a IS-3. Can the IS-3 penetrate him? Maybe on the sides, not sure about this angle. And the rear of the back of the turret, probably not. But the M40 M43 is SPG. You should know it by the sign there. It's a little square symbol. And this thing, if he zooms in and gets a shot onto him, he's going to do a lot of damage, HE damage to this Maus. So the Maus, I think Swedish does the right thing there and takes the shot onto the M40, just finishing him off really nice and quickly, bringing him to 2 kills and 3,000 damage there. So he then starts picking off the IS-3. Again, the IS-3's been angled, and that's not a great thing to do in IS-3 or an IS tank, because that pike nose, as soon as you angle the armor itself, it just becomes complete trash, and doesn't have its fantastic armor if you angle it. So he puts one into him, puts another one into him, sadly it bounces or does no damage, and he's just angling very, very nicely here. He's using the frontal armor of the tank to bounce shots, as well as the angle. He's got the T62A in Swedish's platoon, finishes off that KV4, and the T11, the T110 even, E5 takes out the IS-3 as he goes by. So you see the F4202 on the map. There's the Tiger left, the IS-7 on the hill, the Tiger P going into the base as he finishes off the Allied artillery, and Swedish starts heading back to the cap as he's aiming for this Tiger, which gets swiftly taken out from the tier 10 T110 E5. So Swedish starts heading back to the cap. Now, as you can see, his health's been seriously damaged. He's been taking, I'm not sure if it's gold rounds they've been shooting at him or what, but he has been getting a lot of shots onto the lower glaciers there. A few shots that taken out his turret. Now, none of those shots on the lower glaciers have actually penetrated, so that's good news for the armor of. Actually, no, there's actually no. A couple of them have actually penetrated on the lower glaciers just there, but you can see that bounce. So that's good news for the frontal armor of this tank. As you can see, there's a bounce mark there. A couple of shots into his sides with a few other bullet holes here and there on the tank. So this tank's just been able to get penetrated quite a lot. Puts a shot into the FV4202. Bringing him down to 19 health, so sadly not a roll that could actually kill the tank, so very unlucky there, but he has done 4.5k damage, which is kind of insane. I don't know, this tank doesn't give me the thrill, it doesn't give me the sort of, oh my lord, this tank is awesome, that stuff like the E100 does, or the T62A does. A tank that I really love is definitely something like the Batchat. That tank gives me goosebumps when I watch that tank play. It really does. I love watching it play. And this tank, it just doesn't have the same spark as I think the stuff like the Batchat have, or even the Conqueror Mark 1 that I've got. I love driving that tank to bits. And yeah, I really don't feel like I'll be getting this tank ever. Just because it's not my playstyle. It's certainly not. It seems to be Swedish's playstyle. He's doing pretty damn good. He's the only tank left on their allied team, so he should be able to finish this off quite nicely depending what the IS-7's on. So he takes a shot into the tank by the FV, and he tracks the FV there, so just about to finish him off. The FV puts another shot into him there. He goes for a shot into the FV, sadly misses. I cannot believe he misses that shot. Takes in another shot from the side from the IS-7, so he's bringing him down pretty damn low. And again, that's something I don't like about his tank. He just gets annihilated. Whatever. It just seems like the health pool is the thing that's really keeping you alive, not really the armor. That's what I think in this tank. That's what it makes me think. I've seen some games on this tank that just don't really thrill me. But anyway, so the IS-7 here comes up, and again, now this is where I like the armor of this tank. The frontal armor of that turret, as you can see, just a lovely bounce there. So he goes in and starts face hugging this IS-7. This IS-7 does a really, really bad idea there and face hugs this tank. This tank is nearly 200 tons of armor, and why would you ram it? Just doing serious damage to him. Face hugging this tank. The IS-7 is quite a low profile tank, so if you're having to aim up at this tank, at the Maus, you're going to be increasing the armor value out of its armor. So he puts in a shot, lovely shot into the lower glacis of the IS-7 there, and goes in for a ram. And no, he has no speed behind him whatsoever. But this tank is so heavy, it's insane. Look at him, he's just shoving him and doing some nice damage to him there. As you can see, another shot into him there, bringing him up to 6,400 damage there, which is kind of insane, not going to lie. Comes in, goes for another little ram there, bringing him down to 111, and for a final shot into the cupola. Come on. No, but the IS-7 gets to the back of the tank, so we cannot let... there you go. That was very, very close call there. He finishes off the IS-7. He says, good game in chat. The rest of his team says, nice Maus. Yep, good game, good game. So very, very nicely played there by Swedish at the end of it. And as I said before, I'm not a massive fan of this tank. I just think the health ball is the thing that really keeps it alive. The IS-7 didn't do the right thing. He should have stayed at more of a range, used its speed to travel around the area and start smacking him from distance, I would say, placing his shots better. The IS-7 is quite a quick tank. He should have used that to his advantage and got around him. The Maus is very slow, so I think the IS-7 should have won that personally if he was using the tank correctly, but he didn't. And Swedish finishes the game on almost 6.7k damage, so an awesome amount of damage there, and a lovely 4 kills and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kills to the platoon. So the platoon really did carry this game hard. Very, very nice game, guys, and well done, and thanks for saying this into me, Swedish. Awesome game, mate, and thanks for showing us the Maus. I've never actually seen this. I've never actually had a replay sent to me of the Maus, but this is the first, and if I'm honest, with my playstyle in mind, this is not a tank I will be getting, but I am quite impressed with the huge amount of damage you did in this game. With that, my personal preference, again, not so great gun. So anyway, please put what you think about this replay in the comment section below. Give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic. If you like this, please go check out the channel and check out my other videos. If you did like this, there are lots more there. We've nearly hit 100 subscribers, and if you put a comment in the comment section below, if we hit 100 subscribers by July the 1st, I will be giving out a free game of Awesome Noughts to someone in the comment section below of this video and the vlog that I put up yesterday. So again, put a comment in the section in the below of something about the game, something about the replay, and you could be in a chance with winning a game of Awesome Noughts. It's randomly selected, so anyone can win if they put the comment down. That's only if we hit 100 subscribers by the 1st of July, though. So guys, if you want to get that game of Awesome Noughts, go out and see if some of your friends play World of Tanks, and see if they would like to subscribe to the channel. If they watch World of Tanks, get them to see what they think about the channel. If they like the channel, if they subscribe, if we get to 100, then I'll be giving out a free copy of Awesome Noughts. Awesome Noughts is great. For those of you who don't know, it's a side platformer. It's a 2D platformer, a bit like League of Legends or Dota. Awesome, great fun, very skillful game, and just a great little laugh. It's a fantastic game. Go check it out on YouTube if you haven't already, and it's a great little game there, so I'm giving out a free copy of that. So yeah, anyway, again, I am Will. This was a Maus sent in by Swedish, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.